What's up, guys? So Christmas holiday break, want to do E85 on the old turd, the station wagon here. So picked up some 3/8 plastic line and started picking up some of these Dorman connectors, quick push to connect type deals for all like the OEM stuff. Since in the gas tank in the back, which I can show you in a little bit, I have a top to a gas tank, some Ford. I think it's 3/8 nipples that come out the top for the quick disconnect. Currently it's just a piece of 5/16 hose shoved on there really tight with a hose clamp. So we're going to drop the tank to get to that, and then I also need to route the line, but let me show you what I have hardware wise. Alright, so this is for the fuel line on the motor. It's going to go for the fuel line, for the fuel rails, and then this guy will connect to there. We also picked up a GM style E85 sensor and a pigtail. I also picked up the little tool to pop all these apart. And then I need to pick up 2 more of these. I should have some coming in the mail. I need to check to see where they are shipping wise, but I also 3D printed these. So these clip into the fuel line. And then you throw a zip tie around it, and then you can screw these to your chassis. So here's what these look like. Some different ones I put together. Let's see if I can separate these a little bit. And then, yeah, like that one on the end. So this should make putting all this together quite a bit easier under the car. Once I get the gas tank dropped, I'm going to pull the line, the hard line that was in the car, the original 5/16. So I'm going to pull that completely out because it's just kind of in the way, and I don't know. I just try to clean it up as much as I can. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so top of the tank, lines to the fuel pump. Return that I don't even use, it's just capped off. This is a 3/8 it looks like, so I'm gonna pull this hose off and double check that, and we should be good to go. And then I'll show you underneath and where I think we're gonna do some routing. All right, so pull the line off. Fitting looks like it's gonna work. All right, so metal line from the back all the way up to the front. Here's the 5/8 rubber line I had in there. This is on the fuel side, or the fuel rail side. That was on the gas tank side. So we'll go ahead and start laying out the plastic one and see what happens. All right, so under the car, you can see my little plastic brackets there that I made. Seems to work pretty good. Self-tappers and a zip tie. That runs up to the back. Probably see it hanging somewhere up in there. That's going to go to the top of the gas tank, which I double checked. It's got a 3/8 bung at the top, like it's supposed to for these fuel fittings, so that works out. And then up here, somewhere, there it is, flex fuel sensor. So that's plumbed in. And then up here on the engine side, we got that plumbed into the back of the fuel rail, and you can see the flex fuel sensor down in there somewhere. Down in there. Fuel line's going to that. I need to wire that up, but just to get the car running to see if this is going to work or not, I can do that later. Alright. No leaks. Gas tank in the back is just sitting on the ground. No leaks there. Enough service loop, I think, once it gets hoisted up. We should be good to go. A little bit of gas in the tank. Alrighty. Alright, so we got the wiring down there, that red, white, and black wire for the flex fuel sensor. So I'm gonna grab the laptop. And enable some settings, and then see if we get any ethanol content. It should be 10%-ish, somewhere in there. Anything other than 0, I think. But we'll see. Alright, so enabled the flex fuel stuff, showing 6.4%. Let's see here. So in flex fuel, under fuel, pulls up this window. So we have it enabled on flex input. Not worried about the temperature since we already have a temperature sensor. So min, max frequency, ethanol mix at 0. Bunch of numbers I'm still monkeying with, figuring out what does what. But yeah, so it's working though. We have a mix, 7.2 now, 7.4. Looks like it has a little bit of wobble delta to it, but I might go put some fuel in it. Maybe go hit some E85 close by and see if I can get a little bit of a mix difference. Alright, so we got the fuel line ran, the flex fuel sensor installed and wired up and working. So I also made some changes to the code for my touchscreen display and also in the dash and in the Megasquirt side. I had to blend map times RPM into VE table 2 so I didn't have to create a VE table 2 for the flex fuel side when it's blended up to 100% ethanol. So now VE table 1 and VE table 2 are just trim tables to the actual map times RPM to VE curve. So I'm trying not to touch the map times RPM to VE curve and just use the trim tables to kind of fix any of the weird fueling issues. I'm still using the 163% fueling global multiplier. That seems to be working. I've fussed with the injector dead time a little bit because I noticed when I had like E85-ish was the blend, it was too rich at idle and too lean in boost. So that tells me the injector dead time was too large and I had too much fuel down low and not enough up high. So by making that smaller and then adding in more multiplier, I was able to get more fuel up top but lean it out at the bottom end. And that seems to be correlating back to the gas tune. So I ran the ethanol low down to about 2.5-3 gallons left and then put 7-ish gallons of gas on top. So now I'm showing like E27, E28, give or take. I can show you that here in a second. And so now it's going to be fussing back and forth between startup enrichment, warm-up enrichment, and just the general AFR target values driving down the road. I don't use closed loop fueling. I like just to see what the raw AFR is and then go ahead and make the adjustment and not really rely on the wideband and the algorithm to close the loop and trim the fuel up or down within a set band. I just would rather see the raw value and then make the changes myself. So on the touchscreen, we still have the battery data and then the fuel data. Oops. There we go. So ethanol percent now at 26.6. That number is coming from the Megasquirt box, which is in the glove box. Sends out CAN bus messages to the dash module. The dash module serializes that and sends over serial packet based on which screen we're on. So 26.6% ethanol. So now I can monitor that when I put fuel in the car, and then that gives me an idea of where we are AFR wise. Driving down the road and see if I need to trim it up or down a little bit. So it seems to be working, and I'm gonna go ahead and continue with this and see how it works out. Thanks.